So again, forgive me for some of the simple questions, but tell us, who are you and what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
My name is Ella Jones, and I am the first African-American female to be elected as the mayor of Ferguson in 125 years. I was elected to the council in 2015, and I've been on the council ever since, so it's going on 10 years. The mayor of Ferguson, it's a very, very good position, and I say that because it's about people. If you like people, then you won't have any problems. And I am a people person, and I enjoy going around talking to people. And I never meet a stranger, and I just love the people here in Ferguson, and I love to interact with the people, especially the seniors.
How long have you been a Ferguson resident?
I have been a resident of Ferguson about 42 years now.
And you raised your daughter here.
I raised my daughter here. My husband and I, we moved here in the early 70s. She was, in the second grade, and we had her in private school. And we sat down and we thought about it and said, now if we pay all this tuition for her to go to private school, and then we got to turn around and pay tuition for her to finish college. So what we did, we decided to move to Ferguson because of the school system, the Ferguson-Florissant school system. And so we moved out here, and we're very active in her education. And at that time, Ferguson was different. When I say it was different, my daughter was 7 years old. She would get on her bike and she would ride across West Florissant, go over to Canfield Green, take her piano lessons, play with the children there, and get back on her bike and come home before nightfall. I wouldn't dare do that now because how it has changed. And so what I see now in Ferguson, some of it is heartbreaking. It breaks my heart. Even though people say I look at Ferguson through rose-colored glasses, but they don't see what I see, and they don't see the potential, they don't see the vision. And it's not so much that Ferguson needs to be made great again, it's the people who make up the community have to get to the point where they care about one another, and they're willing to sit down and interact with one another. Not a faction here, not a faction over there, but community. We live in the same environment. So if we're going to coexist, let's work together and continue to make Ferguson a better place for everyone.
What's stopping that from happening?
Sometimes people believe that there is a ruling class, and there's no such thing as a ruling class. And one part of the city is not better than another part of the city. We're all in this together. Until we realize that and start communicating with each other, then we're going to continue to make baby steps instead of running. And it's time for us to run to be a better place for everyone.
As mayor, how much can you make those steps larger than baby steps, and how do you do it?
Communicating, going out, talking to people, attending the neighborhood meetings and the various meetings they have, doing a lot of intergovernmental relationship building with the other mayors around. We cannot live in a silo. It just won't work. We have to connect to the other municipalities around us, because I often tell people, if Ferguson fails, Jennings fails, Berkeley fails. It'll be a domino effect. So we have to keep the line of communication open with all the mayors and have these communities to work together to continue North County to move forward.
Let's take a step back to, I remember when you ran. I remember covering your race with James Knowles. What made you, and I know we asked you this back then, but maybe you have even more perspective now. Where did the flame flicker? Why did it flicker and for you to say, I got to be mayor of this town?
What I had experienced and what the town had become. That life of having community, my child able to move around the city without any care or worry. And then we had moved to a point where you didn't feel comfortable moving around the city. Then I believe it was my responsibility, it was my time to start pouring back into the community. Just like I enjoyed it raising my kid, and someone else need to experience that also. And so I thought it was a good thing for me to get in this, work in it, and continue to help make a difference.
Was Michael Brown's death part of that decision?
Michael Brown's fatal shooting was a decision. Now, let me share with you, at that time, my husband had recently passed away. My daughter had her own life. I'm here running a profitable business. And I had to take a look. I had to take a look at me, What are you doing? You out here, with no cares. You just get in your car, you make her right out your subdivision, go on 270. And here the city is in crisis. What are you willing to do to help the city to get out of crisis? And a lot of the leaders of the community came to me and talked to me, because my husband was well known in politics. And I've never been interested in politics. I only went to the meetings because I was following him. That's the only reason. And they talked with me and asked me to run for council. And I had to take a good look at my state of mind as to whether or not if that's something I wanted to adventure out to. And I told him, yes, I'll run for Ferguson City Council.
And then you ran for something else.
Yeah, I ran for mayor in 2017. That was right after the Michael Brown fatal shooting and the protesting. And they asked me, okay, Ella, what you gonna do next? I said, well, I've done what you asked me. I'm on council. Well, we want you to run for mayor. I said, well, okay, you want me to run against James Knowles? Yes, we do. I said, okay. Because there's a lesson in that. A lot of people think, oh, she lost. It was not about losing. It was about learning and understanding what it takes to be a mayor, and how was I going to interact with a broader community and just instead of a small segment. And I learned. And I came back in 2020 and won the race.
Almost 4 years, can you say in a sentence or two what the experience has been like as mayor of Ferguson?
My experience as being mayor of Ferguson has been a challenge. And when I say it's a challenge, you have a group over here. Mayor, you're doing a good job. The city is growing. We get new businesses. People, you know, we got a new police chief. You're working with a new city manager. We coming out of this consent decree. We appreciate all the work you do. And then you have the other hand. Oh, she's not doing anything. That's all she do is dress up and look pretty and go to parties. And I always like to take pictures and mingle with the big shots. She's not doing anything. But you can't have this without this. Because if you do, then you're trying to make something perfect. So I understand this side and I understand this side, because this side keeps me moving to create a better environment for the people. When people don't understand intergovernmental relationship, they will say, oh, she's at these parties and she's looking good. But I'm at these parties talking to Sam Page, I'm talking to the senators, I'm talking to this person. And what can you do for Ferguson? Building relationships. You cannot be a leader in a silo. You have to build relationships.
When you go to, say, a mayor's conference outside of Missouri or something similar, and you tell people you're from Ferguson, what do they say?
Really? Michael Brown was killed there. How is it? I say it's okay. It's a good place to live. You still can live in Ferguson. You still can raise your family here. You can still make connections here. I remember my daughter and I went to New York, and we were sitting in Carmichael's. And you know, people in New York, they're friendly. And a group was sitting across the table from us, and my daughter and I was talking. And they say, where are you from? And I say, Ferguson, Missouri. The whole restaurant got quiet. And they started sending me bottles of champagne. They say, bless you. You get different responses from people. That's all I'm saying. You get different responses from people. My great niece, she was in the 5th grade, and they was doing Black History Month. And they were showing the various people who are famous, and my picture came up as being the first Black woman to be Mayor of Ferguson. And she said, that's my auntie. And her teacher said, no, you don't even know that lady. She said, no, that's my auntie. And my niece called me. She said they were doing Black History Month, and it was going through the different people. And she was trying to tell her teacher that you're her aunt, and her teacher didn't believe her. I said, okay, that's okay. So I took a flight, and I went down to New Orleans, and I went to my niece's school, and I walked to the door. I say, I'm here because I want to visit with my niece today. And the teacher said, I didn't believe her. I said, yes, believe her. It's real. It's real. So I just come on back home. And you get that everywhere.
Just the shock of it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary? An entire decade has gone by since he was shot in the street.
10 years anniversary, fatal shooting, Michael Brown. Where have we been, where we are, and where are we going? And I remember that right after the fatal shooting, the Department of Justice came in, and Congressman Clay called them in, and they found Ferguson doing some wrongdoings. People did not want to accept it. They still don't accept it. They don't believe it. However, we are in a consent decree. If you wanted to accept it or you don't want to accept it, this is where we are. So where we are, we should embrace it and do everything we can to move out of it. And by having the new police chief that we have, Troy Doyle, he has worked diligently in the last year that he has been here to change the culture of the police department. When he came here, staffing was at 49%. Now we're at 76%. We didn't have a lot of people of color, African Americans, Asians. Well, now we do. We have a variety of them. And we have more women on the force. And that is a big plus, simply because one of the seniors here, his wife has dementia. And she would get out and she would wander, and sometimes she get lost. And this particular time, his wife was very combative and he couldn't do anything. And he called the police department and he shared with them. 2 women officers went there and they were able to talk to her, talk her down so she could go inside. Now just imagine if 2 women officers did not go. That's how far we have grown. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference when the apartment complex say they're having a picnic for the kids and the police officers go out there and they're laughing and they're talking with the children and they're having a good time, and that wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. It's a difference in protecting and serving than policing. You cannot take an officer out of rural Missouri and bring him into a community that's 70% African American and expect them to protect and to serve. They don't understand the culture. And when you don't understand the culture of a people, you tend to do things opposite. So,
besides the changes in the police force, are there other changes, positive changes in the last 10 years you'd like to highlight?
Yes, the people, we are beginning to open up and start talking to one another, and that makes the difference. Last night was the prime example. We have, the federal government gave all municipalities American Rescue Plan fund. And some of the people were not satisfied and they did not understand what was going on with the $650,000 that the city allocated to the Ferguson Neighborhood Improvement Program. And so for the last 3 months, it's been contentious. Back and forth. You doing this, you're not doing this, we not understand this. So a group of citizens got together and said, let's sit down and talk about it. And last night they were over at the Urban League, and it had a nice crowd. The director of the FNIP, Larry Robinette, Shirley Emerson, who is a professor at Washington University, they got together and said, let's talk. It was phenomenal because by the time you move from you said, I heard, you don't like me, the conversation came to the point as to how are we going to work together and make this happen for all the residents in Ferguson. And I told them that's when we have a win-win. When we could sit down, go through our differences, and come out on the other side of let's work together to make this better for everyone. That's what I'm looking for.
Does that expand beyond last night? Do you see little pockets of that throughout?
It's little pockets of it, but it's a good example as to what we need to continue to do to make the difference. It's not about, and I share with people all the time, it's not about how much you know, it's about how much you care. You can pass a policy all day, but if you show people that you don't care about them, that policy doesn't mean anything. It's about caring about the people. It's about working together. That's my mantra, and I'm gonna stick to it.
Your mantra is it's about working together.
It's about working together. It is.
Where does Ferguson still need to go?
Ferguson still need to go to the point where they take a look at their future, and the future is our youth. We need to pour more into our youth, our younger population. And when I share that simply because young people understand love as time. You spend time with me, they begin to follow you and listen to you. And I often say that when you have a coach, that child would listen to his coach because that coach spent a lot of time with them, molding and shaping that attitude, that disposition, that education for that person. We've got to become coaches for our children. If we don't want them to steal our cars, then let's find something better for them to do. Let's spend some time with them. And then we have our seniors. I want our seniors to age in place. When I get old, my daughter already knows, I am not going to live with her. She's coming home to take care of me because I'm not going to move out of my house. And the first thing she said, well, Mama, I'll get 2 condos. I put you in one and I. No. And we have senior citizens here who really don't want to leave the community. But let's build a senior citizen apartment complex where they can move from these large homes into a senior citizen building and let a young family come in and buy that home and enjoy it.
And part of what you're saying is government structure and things that need to happen from a government level, and part of it is a human being level.
Exactly. Social economics. We always talking about building this, doing this, the infrastructure. But we got to use that social piece of it too. Until we embrace social economics, we're going to continue to march in place. Because it is by the people and it is for the people. And we have to get to that point.
So if you can picture in your mind the idyllic Ferguson for you, your brain, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? My
idea of Ferguson, as they say, I look through rose-colored glasses, is people. It's about people working together, taking ownership of their neighborhood. And when you take ownership of your neighborhood, you are going to keep it clean. You are going to know your neighbors. You are going to know the people who live 2 streets over from you. You are going to get to a point that you're going to start interacting. You wouldn't have to call the police to resolve an issue. You should be able to talk to one another. That's where I would like to see us be. When we grow together as a community, then businesses is going to automatically come to us because they want to say, I want to put my business in that community because the people appear to work together and want the best for their neighborhoods, the best for their community. I was talking to a group of young people about 6, 7 months ago, and I told them, who's responsible for cleaning up? I asked them a question. Who's responsible for cleaning up your neighborhood? The city. Really? Who put the paper in the street? Well, we did. I said, but you want the city to come and clean it up when you can do it? So until we change the mindset of our young people and let them know they have to take ownership wherever they live. I don't care if they're renters. I don't care if their moms and dad owns the property. We've got to teach them how to take ownership of where they live.
Is there anything that scares you about this anniversary coming up or makes you nervous?
No, not really, to be honest with you, because I didn't seen it all.
Okay. Because can you characterize, I know it's really hard to do with all the different people, young people, seniors, people busy raising families, but what happened here 10 years ago is still very much on the forefront of people's minds. It's very raw. And educate me if I don't live here, but it's raw for everyone in the metro, but especially here, I would think. Do you think I imagine that's going to be hard for this community to go through, just to acknowledge that anniversary and acknowledge what's happened, where they still need to go. Do you think am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong about it, but we're in the process of it. We're in the process of it. And that's why I started the Back to School program 10 years ago. Because everyone is on edge and everyone is trying to figure out, protesters, are they going to come, are they going to consider this ground zero? We decided, Johnny Little, that you met, he was the PR person for the city at the time. And we got together and said, we got to do something to take the edge off. And we started the Back to School program. It starts on a Friday where we do financial literacy for the people. Saturday, people come together. We usually have fun and games on Saturday, doing backpacks. And then on Sunday, we have the big festival. So in its unity, it's for people to come in from all over and giving the children a positive start back to school by giving them field backpacks of school supplies. It grew from a very small idea, and to the 10th anniversary, it's going to be big. It gives people an opportunity. Yeah, the fatal shooting of Michael Brown did happen. We know we're in a consent decree. We know we have to work on the infrastructure. We know we have social economics to work with. We know the council is doing whatever they can do. The staff is doing, the city clerk. However, we can come together this day and say we are a community and we're going to have fun together. That's the goal. We know it's going to happen, but we can do something positive about it.
And so this one will be, you're putting more extra resources into it?
We put extra resources. We have more sponsors than we ever had before, and people see the value in it. That yes, it's a time, it's going to be a sad time. And my heart goes out to the mother. And my heart goes out to the father. That did not happen to me. I can't even imagine. But I just feel for them. However, you cannot continue to beat us over the head with it. And I say that. We do understand. We feel. We've learned. We're doing better. So that's the only way we could get to the next step of this journey of Ferguson. It's not going to never, ever get away. We're not going to never, ever forget it. It's edged here, and we have to come to a point where we embrace it. It happened, but it does not need to happen again. We've got to improve, and we've got to continue to improve in order to make this a place, continue to make this city a good place for people to live. I don't want nobody to fear my city. I want people to come and enjoy themselves here in Ferguson, but I don't want nobody to fear it. We have problems just like everyone else, but not to the point, man, I'm not going to Ferguson. It's the 10th anniversary of Michael Brown. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. If something happened, then we're going to have to live with it and work with it and deal with it. But in the meantime, we cannot walk around afraid. We cannot let fear take us over. Because if fear takes us over, then we will cease to exist.
Being a pastor certainly makes you the most eloquent mayor I've ever interviewed. That was very excellent. That was wonderful. So, do you think the community has fully healed?
No, by no means. By no means. This is a deep wound. And it's going to take time to heal. And there will be times we think we are healing and we're not. Because sometimes we'll pull the scab off the wound and make it worse than what it is. But we got to continue to believe that we're on the right path for the healing process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be 10 years. It may not be in my lifetime. It may not be in my lifetime. But we have to do what we need to do in order to continue to move forward. We can't stand still. If we stand still, we're going to die. And I'm not about dying. So we're going to have to continue to work. Mm-hmm. And that's why we changed the police department. The courts are changing.
The courts changing was big. Yeah. And that had a ripple effect through many court systems.
Exactly.
And that really is a game changer because what was happening there was just not fair.
No.
And nobody was highlighting it. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was changing it. Mm-hmm. And it was ruining people's lives. Mm-hmm. That was a wonderful change. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think everybody can agree on that.
Right. And it makes a difference. And then people started taking, and I truly say this, when Chief Moss was here, he began to change the culture. And then Moss left, and then we had a couple of other police chiefs, and then now we have Chief Troy Doyle. It's the stability. If people realize, every year to get a new police chief, we could go do what we want in Ferguson. But now they realize that attitude, they cannot take that type of attitude anymore because people, they do speed and everything else. And when Chief Troy came in, he was like, if you break the law, you're going to have to suffer the consequences. We are not saying don't come here and enjoy yourself, but you just can't come here and break the law and expect the police department not to do anything. And it was such an uproar when he came here. He started Tim Tag Tuesday. Oh, people were mad. Why see Ferguson doing that again? They trying to put tickets on people? No. You cannot continue to ride around with temporary tags back to 2018. You can't do that. And he said, if you come to Ferguson and we see you, we're going to stop you and give you a warning. Now, Florissant, Dalewood, Jennings, Berkeley, Moline Acres, doing the same thing. Why? Because we had a day to bring all the mayors in with the prosecuting attorney and with Chief Doyle and let him sit down and explain to the mayors and their police chiefs exactly what all of that mean. And they left here with a better understanding. So, hey, we're going to do the same thing. Now we understand what's going on.
Let me check my questions. Let's see. Yep.
While you're doing that, I'm going to look at this camera real quick.
Okay. My only last question for you is just personally those 13 days in August of 2014. What was that like for you and your family? I guess your daughter was already...
My daughter was gone. Patricia Bynes, who was the committee woman for the Ferguson Township. She called me and she alerted me to what was going on, and I was pretty saddened by the fact that the young man laid in the ground for 4.5 hours. He laid out there. However, I didn't protest. I did not see a need to protest. And I say that because all of us couldn't be out in the streets. All of us couldn't be protesters. All of us have a different call. And it was not my call to protest. It was my call to go knock on City Hall door and say, I need a seat at the table. That was my call.
Perfect. What do you want to say that I didn't ask you that's important?
Ferguson is a good place to live, work, and play, and pray. And we are beyond the West Florissant. We are beyond that. We are beyond that. And that's what I want people to see. Come here to Ferguson and enjoy yourself. Have fun. We have a cigar bar.
You have a brewery.
We have a brewery.
You have all-day breakfast.
Yeah, so it's a place for everyone. On Friday night we have a concert. Come out and listen to the music. Once a year for 14 years now we have a Twilight Run. So we are a family-orientated community, and we need to continue to capitalize on that and continue to work and make it better.
Excellent. Any questions from you, Doug?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I hope I gave you enough.
You are
to-
fantastic. I mean, it must be the pastor in you, like I said.
It is.
Yeah.